It goes through at some point. It's everybody in there felt great. There's no excuses. I mean, we had that tie game at home going to third. We want that one.
You didn't generate a ton, as you said. What didn't you do enough of?
I'm sorry?
What didn't you do enough of to generate more?
I mean, just moving from our D up top, getting away from that winger coming up, blocking, trying to get in that shot lane. As forwards, maybe holding on to the puck too long. I think we had some offensive zone shifts where, you're almost looking for the perfect play. And by that time they're able to collapse and take away the middle of the ice. And so I think being quicker to get pucks to the net and creating that chaos, and then, those seam plays and everything else will open up from that.
When the team starts to maybe look for those seam plays or sort of pass off opportunities to shoot, I kind of interpret it as maybe mistakes that come from fatigue. I mean, not to push too hard on that the tired or the schedule or all of that sort of stuff, but is there a relationship between those reads and a bit of mental fatigue?
I don't think so. I think it's just a mindset. Maybe you get too comfortable, thinking you have space, but you really don't. They're collapsing. They're taking away the good ice. We were just around the outside. That's what we want to do in our D zone. Keep them to the outside. And it's just a mindset shift for us that we need to get back to. And you saw it in glimpses, but I don't think there's anything mental fatigue that an excuse for that.
And it's maybe been a while since. I mean, yesterday would have been a positive example, but a while since we've seen you really lean on teams for kind of an extended period of time. When that's not happening, why is it easier to maybe get into that rush game, and then there's the turnovers and all that sort of stuff to deal with?
Can you be a little more specific, like lean into a team? What do you mean by that?
I mean, just like control flow of play, handoff shifts, ozone shift after ozone shift. I mean, there were times earlier in the season where you guys were doing that sort of thing, and it seems like maybe since that stopped, you guys can get beat in transition a little bit more.
I mean, just speaking on transition, it's reading off each other, covering for a D-man if they're in, being smart through the neutral zone, not turning the puck over. That's where transition offense from the other team generates. So that's where I would look.
And the power play gets one. You had some chances early in the game. Maybe the second period, what were you doing a little bit better that led to your goal?
I think it's just all the small things that add up, reading each other's routes, winning the battles. Doesn't matter where you are. The one, I was carrying the puck up, dropped it to Josh. He goes in, he fills my spot, he's in there, I'm covering for him. So it's just small details that need to be a constant every single time around the ice. And I thought those details were sharp. And when that happens, we get the puck back. It's those battles that makes a difference. And then we're able to play with the puck, and we have all of our set plays and know what we do once we have the puck.
Last one for me is kind of on the getting the puck back, is maybe some of those retrievals after shots. Is that a difference between when you guys are on fire and now?
It's something that we fall back to when it's not going well. That's something that we look forward to, and teams adjust as well. We got to make adjustments. You can see we've tweaked with our breakouts, we've tweaked with some of the stuff, but at the same time, it's our foundation that makes us good on the power play.
Kyle, I imagine you appreciated Neil coming in to defend you that hit in the first period. Just how close was that to maybe being something a little more dangerous in your eyes?
Yeah, it's hockey. It's happened sometimes. I just kind of got out of the way. I saw him kind of looking to finish the hit, and luckily he didn't get me. Nothing serious.
Were you surprised that was just called 2-minute roughing for the two guys after that? Looked like
yeah,
looked like a little more than that.
Yeah, we were giving it to him for sure. It's yeah, it looked like a fight to me.
Thanks.
All right.
Seems you're always in the mix in the third period, and looking back to Vegas and Dallas and now tonight, all three of those were games that were tied with 12 or less, I think, on the clock. I guess what's it going to take to maybe turn some of those regulation losses into wins, or at least getting them to extra time?
Yeah, just making a play or just doing what we need to do in regards to our structure. Felt like we gave them those two tonight. They went and got it, but I think we equally gave it to them. We weren't in our structure, and we didn't do what we need to do in certain roles. So, that's really what it came down to, I think.
When you see your goaltender make a great save like Eric did off Sean Monahan there, that's something that I suppose could give the team a lift, right? But then I think it was 23 seconds later, they scored. Just disappointed, I guess, that you couldn't maybe build off the momentum off a great save like that?
Just disappointed we couldn't find the win. Pretty plain and simple. I mean, Collins played great. He wasn't the reason we lost. We weren't good on any of the goals that we gave up.
Why do you think that you guys have kind of veered away from your structure, as you said, and kind of being able to execute like you did for the start of the season?
Not sure. Not sure.
Do you think that some of these mental errors from you guys are compounding? Like, does it feel that way, where it's one thing after another?
Yes and no. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just an error in a critical point in the game. Very rarely is it one thing that always kills you. Maybe it's a series of breakdowns that happen and things like that lead to a goal against. Tonight it was, I think, a series of breakdowns that ended up, costing us, I think, in the end.
Is there concern that there isn't really an answer or a silver lining as to why you guys have veered away from things?
I think it's encouraging to find the answer. We got time to figure it out. There's still lots of game left, lots of season left. I think, we're in still a pretty darn good spot. And that's the encouraging part, that we still got lots to learn and continue to build our brand here.
Still the note of military appreciation night. So you've just come from a hard-fought loss. You go out there, you meet and greet, you talk to a lot of people who've gone through a lot of different things, and then you come out here and it's like, we're asking you, why did you lose, kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could speak to the importance of the night and then just what it's like as a player to go from one to the next.
Well, I spoke with someone who was just in Iraq for 6 months. I mean, we got a pretty good gig what we're doing here, even in a tough night, where we maybe didn't have our best. There's no bad days in this league. You got to cherish every moment. The men and women that fight for our country, let us play a game for a living. We're not able to without their sacrifice and the people that have sacrificed before and the people that will sacrifice, in the future for us. So when you put that thing into perspective, tonight doesn't mean that much in regards to what those have to go through. But, it was great to, put some smiles on some faces out there. And even for us, maybe for a couple of minutes or so, forget about the loss and, thank them for everything that they've done for us.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Hey.
How'd that one get away from you?
You know what? Third period made 2 mistakes. Turnover in our end, turnover in neutral zone. They turned around and put them right back in our net.
How disappointing is it to see that?
I mean, you don't want to make mistakes. We're tied going into the third, kind of like we've been the last few games and found ways to win hockey games. This one, we made mistakes and ended up in the back of our net.
Kyle was saying fatigue's no reason, no excuse. What do you think?
Well, we're never going to use that one. There's too many teams. I can show you everybody else's schedule. They're doing the same thing. You know what? It's 3 and 4 nights. That's all the more reason to, simplify what you're doing, making sure that, you hope that, you do the right things. It doesn't turn into offense for the opposition.
Eric gave you a chance?
Again, yeah. Every game he's played. And that's the hard part. We're not getting the run support for him. And he's been really good for us. He certainly isn't any of the problem, that's for sure.
With a schedule like this and a loss like that, I guess one of the things that you don't want to do is give up freebies, right? You want to take advantage of your special teams, and you don't want to make those giveaways. So would you attribute that to mental fatigue, though, or what is going into it?
It's the one thing we talk about that, if you have to get your body physically ready. You got to recuperate. You got to get yourself ready to go for the next game. But you also have to get your mind ready too. That you're going to get in situations that that's the part that happens. You make mistakes because sometimes fatigue is there. But at the end of the day, the other opposition is if you're putting a lot of heat on them and you're putting them in situations, they're going to make mistakes too. But that's just hockey at times. It's just the teams that obviously don't make those grade A's that turn into offense the other way. I mean, yeah. But I'm not. We talk about it as a group. We're not looking for excuses based on the schedule. There's not that. This is hockey. There's things that happen out there that you're in charge of and you can handle, and whether that's not having your legs one night or not having, maybe you're not feeling, maybe there's some injuries, whatever it might be. You have to grind your way through it, and everybody else does.
At 0-0 after 1, I can't remember the shots, but they had a lot, and I wonder if the
12-6.
zone time
12-6. Yeah, and they were playing. They were sitting waiting for us. We knew they were going to come. They're a shot volume team. We knew that the first period there was going to be a lot of pucks thrown of our net. I think the chances ended up being 3-2 for them. So it wasn't like we were sitting getting bombarded. But we knew that I knew Dean he was going to come, and that's his MO from Minnie as well. I mean, they were going to jump on us in that first period. Flew in last night. I thought we did a pretty good job of eliminating the amount of chances that that they were looking to get.
Before the penalty, it looked like you were actually spending most of the shifts in their zone, but maybe the puck was getting the net, but there was no shot or something to that effect.
Yeah, and that's the little bit of the frustration. Our zone time is actually higher than theirs for the game. Thought that there was times where we could attack below the circles, where we should have maybe put the puck into the blue paint and created those second chances. There was a lot of looks where our D had it at the top that got blocked. I think there's 4 or 5 where they hit sticks or they got in their shin pads. Obviously Columbus did a good job of getting in the lanes, but at the same time, our offense is kind of based on getting pucks, working it from low to high, and then trying to create the separation with the opposition's defense, and then work to get pucks there. And that's one area we got to continually to improve on. Is that earlier on we had a real mindset of we're attack mode all the time, and now we're maybe a little bit at times looking for that one extra pass, and this is the time when you need the volume sometimes.
On the power play, it looked like, I mean, you did get the goal, and it does put you up or what have you, but maybe the sheer number of options isn't there, or the pace, or maybe it's the puck recovery, but at some point it just doesn't look like it did maybe 3 weeks ago. And what is that?
I thought the last one did.
Yeah.
It's because it started with the shots. And it's hard to tell, you're trying to tell these guys that the shot creates the scrambles, it gets the penalty kill out of sync and out of position. But there's also the opposition is trying to do a real good job of getting in those lanes on us. And early in the year, a lot of those pucks are getting through. Now they're, the opposition's trying to making sure that we're not getting those shot opportunities. But when we do attack, like our last power play, when we did get into shot mode and we did get pucks down around the net front, like I said, it created separation, and then it kind of leaves, in that case, Casey all alone coming off that side. So just something we'll continue to work with, kind of like the 5-on-5, that we know what our mindset needs to be. When we have the puck, we got to continue to kind of keep hammering that home.
Just a couple personnel questions, Scott. With Villy, was there any injury there, or just
no? Just we were 3 and 4 nights and trying to get some fresh legs in him. Kind of getting back at it. So Millsy obviously was a big part of what's kind of gone on for us here. Since the start of the year, but that was just more about fresh legs.
And with the extended week here at home, and you get some practice time in that, do you have any update on Nikolai Ehlers and when he might resume skating?
Yeah, there could be a chance he could be skating this week. We'll see. We don't practice tomorrow, so good chance he could be out on the ice this week.
Dylan and Kyle talked about kind of how you guys have veered away from your structure. When you assess it, like, is it those second, third chances? Is it mental breakdowns? Like, what is it that's leading to you guys getting away from your game to overarching?
It's kind of a broad question. Like, what part of you?
In terms of, they talk about their structure, like, you're getting away from your structure. What is that? How do you?
Well, our structure is, if we're talking about the offensive zone, there's some of the things I just talked to Murat about. If you're talking about our D zone, there's some structure there that where we outnumber and we close quick. If you're talking about through the neutral zone structure, that's us being above, always having numbers over top of their numbers, forcing more dump-ins than carries. Structure is a big word. I mean, there's different areas we look at it. So, tonight I wouldn't say there was one area that was, probably worse than others, or an area that I'm going to zoom in on. There's some nights you go, man, oh man, we couldn't handle them in our end of the rink, or we couldn't get to their net, different things like that. So I mean, there's our structure. Obviously, we all know what it is as a group, and it's how we defend when we don't have the puck. And I thought tonight we attacked pucks. We went and got pucks. It wasn't like Columbus had the puck all night. So in that side of structure, I thought we were, that's not an area I would totally go at right now.
In terms of mental errors, breakdowns on goals, you've mentioned the passing was after the Vegas game. There was rush chances. There was a breakdown tonight as well. What do you think is leading to those kind of mistakes compounding?
Yeah, sometimes first it's it's numbers. It's getting beat back up the ice. If it's your F3 or it's the other two forwards that are deep, maybe it's your deep pinching and somebody not backing them up. Those type of things. When it comes to us on that part of it, it's kind of the reads that happen. Maybe you're pressing so hard to try to score a goal that you get caught. I think on there was a couple of situations where we got caught with numbers, and the Monahan chance they didn't score on was one where we had one guy coming off the bench and the other two got caught deep, and that just creates those odd man looks. And so I think that it's just trying to stick with kind of how we play those things, and making sure that we stressed a lot lately about making sure we got numbers above their numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you.